Yeah, I was upset because Joe had thrown that interception, but man, I would have tried to give.
Then you're not the top.
Right, then you're not the guy.
Yeah.
And so that part I don't like. Here's the part to me that I'm not going to write him off is the answer. I'm not writing him off because I still think if you have this level of passing attack, you can't be written off.
Okay.
But it reminds me a lot, man, of some early 2010s New Orleans Saints teams. Where you're like, oh, this team's going to score 30. The quarterback's going to have unbelievable numbers, and they're going to lose shootouts every week.
Yes, like bad years.
Right, I mean, right. 4 out of 5 years, they won 7 games with Drew Brees. And so that, to me, is what, Wilds?
Nothing.
What? No,
you want to play a game, a segment within a segment?
Sure.
It's called Do You Believe in These Teams, okay? Raise your hand if you believe in any of these teams.
What does believe in?
I don't know. What do we mean here?
Go
to the playoffs?
A chance to be
make a run at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, sure.
Does anyone believe in the Patriots? Show of hands, staff included.
No.
Cincinnati is who we're currently.
Yes.
Jacksonville.
No.
I don't know. The season starts in London. Big win.
They weren't going to lose every game.
Anybody believe in Cleveland?
No.
The Rams.
Yes.
Carolina.
No, hold on. The Rams, I have my hand up.
I know, but for the sake of this
could the Rams win the NFC?
If they get last year they were 3-6, and but it's the same logic.
Carolina and Tennessee, those are currently
the Rams and the Bengals are different.
In order. The current, if the NFL draft was today, Cincinnati is picking 2.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about like, man, can the Patriots make a run? They can put Drake May in there, something a little special happen. Like, they're 1-4. Those are the 1-4
Here's
teams.
What
Okay, I'm going to let this clip play, but I was going to show this later, but, like, this is absurd. You want to know why the Bengals have a chance or why you can't just go by wins and losses and all that? Because look at this. Joe Burrow has is top quarterback, okay? He's got 12 touchdowns, most passing touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions, okay? What is he? He is 6th in yards. I mean, his completion percentage is 3rd. I mean, like, no matter how we slice it, he's been awesome, okay? Absolutely awesome. I mean, it's just top 10 in yards per attempt. Obviously, bottom for interceptions as well. I mean, it's just, and if we even just use PFF's offensive rating, which you guys know I don't live and die by the stats, number 3. So this is all the proof. 1, you can't just go by stats, and 2, wins and losses, you can't just say, oh, this is all on the quarterback. I mean, like, what else do you want Joe Burrow to do right now? I mean, my God, he's throwing for 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I mean, these losses are not on him at all. Not even for a second.
I want to. They're S-Bob. The Bengals 100%. Have been S-Bob. And I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. Now,
I agree.
If they got to the point,
they're 1-4.
No, but seriously, if they got to they can still make the playoffs. There are 3 teams in the AFC that look good. Kansas City, Baltimore, and Houston. That's it.
He's exactly right.
Buffalo, it might be 1 team out of AFC East.
I wrote this exact same thing
1 team out of AFC South.
And then,
right?
That's
2,
right.
It could be the Bengals and the Ravens in the AFC North. And even the AFC West.
No, but
who's going to follow the Chiefs?
So that's right. Kansas City, Houston, Baltimore, you feel like it would take a travesty for them not to make it.
Mm-hmm.
The AFC East, to me, right now, looks like a 1 playoff team division. Let's just call it Buffalo for the sake of argument. That means there's 3 spots available for the Jets, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Chargers.
Right.
I understand your point that all of those teams have more wins than Cincinnati. And they might have dug themselves too big of a hole. But the flip side to this, and this is the thing I tried to awkwardly ask you Friday, but you couldn't answer it because I didn't ask it right. That was my bad.
Kind of you. I don't know if you really believe that.
I'm in a good mood. That I don't actually think the Bengals are a dramatically better or worse team based on the holder screwing that up. And if he hadn't, and you think he was going to make the kick, then we're sitting here today. Bengals and Ravens are both 2-3, and I think you might be saying, and you think both are okay. So that's why I can't write them off. But I get what you're saying. You dig a hole this deep at some point, but if you're going to be great at one thing in the NFL, having it be you score a ton of points because you have an awesome quarterback, that's a pretty good thing to be great at.
What I will say is this. They can't win the Super Bowl with that defense.
No, I totally agree.
And I think Baltimore's defense will improve. I don't think that. I mean, the Cincinnati's may get marginally better, but I don't think it's not going to become a good defense. Now they match up well for some reason with the Chiefs. Maybe could they upset the Chiefs? But they cannot get to the Super Bowl and win
I don't want to be Trevor.
Okay. Let's talk about this because I want to talk about the Bengals from a more pullback perspective with this one. Because the real question, any reason to still believe in Cincinnati? Yeah. Well, I mean, because of what I already established with Joe Burrow and what they can do. But it obviously is grim. It's obviously not positive, right? You're 1-4, but this season has unfolded quite interestingly. I think there's a lot of teams with wins that have a better record that are not that good. There's enough teams that are kind of getting some wins, and you're just like, this 1-4 team feels better than some of these other teams that have 2, 3, 4 wins. And so it's going to be interesting if the Bengals can just start to get some wins going. And this defense is rough. And then my question is where do you go from here as the Bengals? You can't just keep running it back, right? And you're also going to lose T. Higgins. And so it's do you fire the coach? What do you do from here? Because I know Joe Burrow has had his injury issues, but at the same time, it feels like you're also wasting prime Joe Burrow years. People were afraid, Joe Burrow, he's injured. Will he ever be the same? And yet he's been balling out, as I highlighted, and yet they can't get anything going. I mean, that's insane. I mean, the Bengals consistently have a bad O-line, right? Their defense is, I understand they have some injuries, but their defense is just never this great, intimidating defense. And I don't know where the Bengals go from here. Even in this game, they started to stop the Ravens, run, and they were able to regain some momentum, especially defensively. And they got Jamar Chase going, and it was all kind of starting to come together until it didn't. Right. And then when you needed to execute, not throw an interception, which, interceptions happen, only a second on the year. And then, of course, the fumbled snap. And you were even given a gift by the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson fumbling his snap. Right. It was given to you in a lot of ways. But you can also look at it from the other side where, listen, you got beat by Lamar Magic, right? I mean, what Lamar did also on his first fumble was amazing. I mean, that was absolutely remarkable. And then you had injuries, right? And it was you just can't overcome all of that. And so I guess it depends on how tough do you want to be on the Bengals. The problem is they haven't shown to overcome any of these things or be resilient or get the job done in more perfect situations or create a team that is better suited to win over the last however many years. And that's a fundamental problem. And a lot of people call Joe Burrow out, wrongfully so, from my viewpoint. But they'll say Joe Burrow is still hanging his hat, and his reputation is more based on him losing in the Super Bowl. Right? That's what they say. And what has he done since then, really, right? The fact that he's been able to beat Patrick Mahomes, that's the only reason why people consider him a top quarterback. And the reality is he's obviously a top quarterback in the NFL. Obviously. Anyone who questions that is just, I don't even know, quite frankly. And so when you have a top quarterback like a Joe Burrow, it is the greatest gift in the NFL, okay? It is the greatest gift. To have that, to have the most important piece of your team locked and ready to go. And it does not feel like the Bengals do everything they can to build a team to make them a championship level team. And Joe Burrow says himself, we're not a championship level team. From my viewpoint, that's inexcusable at this point for the Bengals. How can you not build a championship level team? Look at what the Chiefs do every single year. Every single year, they build a championship level team. So what do you have to do? Is it a GM issue? Is it a head coaching issue? Right? What is this? What is the situation here? You got to figure out, because all these other teams keep doing it as well. So you're not alone. But the Bills do it. The Cowboys do it. Right? You have other teams that are constantly doing this. not building a pretty good team, but not good enough. But they don't have Joe Burrow as their quarterback, right? So it's like you gotta build you gotta have a better defense. Like, what is this? And I know, it's hard to use this specific game because it is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be a legitimate high-powered offense as well. So I don't want to get too lost on just the score of this single game. But what it is the issues that plague the Cincinnati Bengals are issues that have plagued the Cincinnati Bengals for a really long time. It's one thing if this was like a one-off thing, then you could understand it. But it's the constant issues. And, there's a saying when you're talking about playoffs. It's like the things that your weaknesses in the regular season come back to haunt you in the playoffs. And that's true in any sport. Basketball, baseball, football, like any sport. That your weaknesses come back to haunt you in the playoffs because they get exposed or they get magnified. And the Bengals, for years, their weaknesses constantly come back to haunt them. And the issues that they don't now take care of from offseason to offseason come back and haunt them. And so I asked this question, I forget which fan base, to a different team, but I asked the same thing now to Cincinnati Bengals fans. Like, how is this acceptable to you? Who do you blame? Where are you putting this blame? Like, are you not infuriated by this? Are you not frustrated? You got an unbelievable quarterback, a quarterback that could truly be a legend of the sport. And this is what you got right now, 1-4. You have your quarterback balling out, leading the NFL in touchdowns. Only 2 interceptions. Just unbelievable cannon, accuracy, anticipation, timing, ability to read defenses. I mean, just does it all. Just an unbelievably pure pocket passer. And he's balling out. It's not like he's playing bad, and yet you're 1-4. Does that not make you feel like you're going insane? And again, where do you blame? Like, what do you want? If the Bengals could make a change right now, what would it be? Fire the coach? Like, what would it be? Because I see this as like nothing short of a tragedy. I really do. I see it with a couple quarterbacks. I see it with Josh Allen as well. It's like, you're wasting the talents of these quarterbacks. Like, what teams are you putting out here? Who are these coaches? Who are these coordinators? Who are these players that you're surrounding them with? Like, what is this right now? And so I just it's a bummer. It honestly is. Because you can see the greatness. You can see, this game was an instant classic. I watched this game and I was just like, oh my God. I don't even know who I'm rooting for to win this game. I don't know who deserves it more at this point. This is wild. On one side, I was like, I want the Bengals to win because I want them to still be able to be in playoff contention. On the other side, I'm like, oh my God, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens deserve to win this game, right? Like, I'm just like, I don't even know. And sorry, Bengals fans or Ravens fans for that matter. I'm just just an NFL fan. So it's just, who are you blaming for all of this? And what do you want to see done? That is my question to Cincinnati Bengals fans. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Bengals? And do you think there's any reason to still believe in them? And if not, what do you want done? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.